If you're expecting twins, you know that you're in for a big change from the very moment they enter the world. You may have your birth plan written, your baby nursery ready, and all your family and friends are ready for the big event. But are you? My name is Rosemary Mason, and I'm a certified postpartum doula, and I'm also a certified lactation counselor with over 20 years of experience with multiples. Today, we'll talk about the first week, how you can transition from the hospital after giving birth to your twins. This is Twin Talks Episode 2.
The ultrasound shows your babies to be healthy.
What? Did you say babies? You're huge. Are you having twins?
Are they natural?
Which one do you like better?
Twins, huh? My neighbor's cousin's brother's uncle's a twin.
So can they read each other's minds?
How do you tell them apart? Twins? You got a 2-for-1.
Do twins run in your family?
Double trouble. You're not having any more, are you?
At least you're not Octomom.
If you're pregnant with twins or you're an experienced twin parent, odds are you've heard it all before. Now it's time to hear from the experts. This is Twin Talks, Parenting Times 2. Welcome to Twin Talks, broadcasting from the Birth Education Center of San Diego. Twin Talks is your weekly online, on-the-go support group for expecting and new parents of twins. I'm your host, Christine Stewart Fitzgerald. Have you heard about the Twin Talks Club? Our members get bonus content after each new show, plus special giveaways and discounts. Subscribe to our monthly Twin Talks newsletter and learn about the latest episodes available. Another way for you to stay connected is by downloading our free Twin Talks app available on iTunes and Google Play. And if you're not in San Diego, we have a virtual panelist program, and Sunny, our producer, can tell you about that.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Okay, so as you guys know, we produce these shows in San Diego, and if you want to be a panelist, if you're a parent of twins, we'd love to have you here in the studio. But if you can't join us on the studio, we are encouraging you guys to become what we're calling virtual panelists. And basically, you can follow us on Twitter, and you can join our Facebook page. You like our Facebook page. We're going to be posting questions in advance before we do our tapings of some of the topics we're going to be talking about. And we want your guys' input. You can also ask our experts questions that way. If you are going to follow us on Twitter, we did create a hashtag for that, which is Twin Talks VP. VP stands for Virtual Panelists. And that's a great way to follow the conversation and become more part of our shows.
Great. Well, hey, thank you. Why don't we find out a little bit about everyone we've got in our studio today? So, Sunny, aside from being our producer, you got to tell us why you're here.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so as I mentioned, I'm Sunny. I am producing today's show, and I'm following everybody on our social media here and checking out our Facebook and Twitter profiles to see what you guys are chatting about. But a little bit more personally about me, I am a mother. I'm pregnant currently with identical twin girls. I do have 2 little boys at home. I have a 3-year-old singleton, also a 15-month-old singleton. They keep me pretty busy, and I'm expecting the twin girls to round out our house a little bit. There's been a lot of testosterone in the house, and I'm bringing some estrogen in here. So I'm really excited about it. I have tons of questions regarding how to handle twins and stuff, so I'm excited about today's episode.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And our expert, Rosemary, now we know you've got a lot of experience with twins and multiples.
Pretty much, I would say 90% of my work is with working with multiples. Twins, triplets, quads. It's a lot of fun. I love working with the multiples and the families. It's very fulfilling bringing those babies home, whether it's their first or second babies, or this is their third or fourth or fifth or sixth.
Right.
I'm Christine Stewart Fitzgerald, and I am the mom to twin girls. They are almost 4 right now. Mm-hmm. And I also have a singleton who's 10 months old. So I'll just say twins was certainly a handful, still is. And I have to say, I still have to hand it to all the moms of singletons. A singleton is still...
Just as much work.
Yes, just as much work. It's a lot.
Wow.
So, well, thanks everyone, and welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So before we start today's show, let's talk about an incredible story about twins that just hit the news recently. So I have to say, I read this and it just gave me some shivers. The story is really about there's a set of parents who were unable to conceive. They used a surrogate mother, and they conceived a little boy. They're happy. He was 18 months old, and they decided, we'd like to bring in maybe a sister. So they went back to the surrogate mom and said, yes, we'd like to go through this process again. And everything happened as it should. She got pregnant with a I guess, triplets, and one was selectively reduced. She had twins. And at the 12-week mark, she got the news that the parents decided they did not want the babies.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. The parents were getting a divorce, and even though they're biological parents, and so here's this, surrogate mom, and I guess the paperwork wasn't in order completely, but she just felt really strongly for these babies, and when they're born, she did not want to give them up to social services. So she actually went ahead and adopted them.
I see.
As her own.
Wow.
So I don't know.
Wonderful.
Oh my
So sweet.
goodness. Wow.
So I don't know. Can you? I mean, it's if you were in this situation, I just have to imagine. I mean, what would you be doing if you were in place of the surrogate mom?
Oh, definitely. I would be the same way. I would just be adopting them myself. I think that's one of the things. I think as all surrogates, I think that's in the back of their mind that what happened if something goes on. It could be a number of things that could go on. Would I be able to step up and adopt these children as my own? I would think most of them would say yes.
I have to say that's a huge sacrifice.
Oh
and
my gosh,
that's totally noble. So,
Yeah.
I just have to. I mean, I know I'm just so happy just to think that they've got a home. But
Oh yeah. Well, I'm confused as to they have to put stuff like this in a contract, right? I mean, I would imagine this is part of on Preggie Pals, our sister show, we've done an episode about surrogacy, and there's not much that is left out of a contract.
No, they have pretty much nailed down. That's what I'm saying when she said there's some sort of contractual type of little thing going on.
Yeah.
Either that wasn't in place or something.
Right. Something. Well, she was only 12 weeks, but still, I would think before anything's even implanted or anything that this would have
be talked about. Yeah.
Yes.
You think?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The moral of the story, I'm not sure. It's just even if you think you've got everything lined up,
I know.
you can't be sure. But I gotta hand it to her for what doing a really great.
Maybe also if you had a regular parents and they get divorced, and this happens too. They get divorced, they're pregnant. Mom steps up and does the same type of thing, or an aunt steps in, or something goes on. But
yeah, I mean, even if the surrogate didn't want to do it, I know that especially if this were publicized, and it had been publicized in some manner for us to get this article, that there's a lot of parents out there that want to have kids that probably would
they could have stepped in and
over.
they could have offered and done that too.
Right.
So I think it makes her sound okay, I'll take them.
Well, at least they're taken care of. We know they're going to be okay.
Yes. Well, today's topic is bringing home twins the first week. It's the first of a 5-part series. And today we're talking with Rosemary Mason, a postpartum doula who's helped many twin families. She's going to tell us about what we can expect the first week at home and how to prepare for it. So thanks for joining us, Rosemary.
Oh, thank you, ladies, for having me. It's wonderful being here.
So, Rosemary, I mean, you've been working with twins, multiple families. There's so much in preparing, for twins. What are some of the things that new parents should think about when they first take home their newborn twins?
I think the first things, with multiples, people are really accepting about having help. And because they think, you're having multiples, you need help. When you have a singleton, you think, you have 2 parents, you'll be fine. You don't have to worry about it. Yeah. I like to tell my parents, this is like being on a vacation, or you're going on a big, I call them baby moons. It's almost like a honeymoon. And with a honeymoon, you don't bring a lot of people with you, but you prepare. You prepare anything else. So if you're going, let's say we're just going on a big fancy vacation, you know where you're going to go. You know that you have to take care of things at home. If you have other siblings, they're not going to be going on this honeymoon or baby moon with you. So you're going to have people to help take care of them. And the same thing. So when you're coming home, you know that you have food preparation. It's like going to a big fancy hotel.
Right.
It's all exclusive. Your food's right there. And you want to have that prepared. You want to think about who's going to take care of our pets while we're on this vacation or this honeymoon. So that's taken care of. So I just like them getting the mind frame of what would you be taking care of if you were going to be gone for a week or 2 weeks. You'd have the same type of mind frame for it. So you'd want to get the food going. Food is a big deal.
Food, yes. So, I mean, and as far as food goes, what are some of the best ways?
You can have, people at their baby showers sign up and have food prep come so they know that every day or every other day that someone's going to bring them a dish. And, people out there who are bringing dishes, they don't want lasagnas the size of tabletops. So please think of In-N-Out, a pizza. Ask them what they really want, because a lot of times we have so many leftovers and people feel bad. It's just like they're giving food away. So like every other day is a nice time to have these things dropped off. But, don't feel bad parents asking for help is the number one thing.
Oh, definitely. And, I have to say, I've been the recipient of, sort of these meal programs programs, and I love it. It's such a personal
wonderful.
thing. It really meant a lot to me.
Right.
So,
And another real quick thing, it's not has to be dinner things. Think of breakfast and lunch. Even dropping by sandwiches or something that in the morning, burritos, or it's very helpful. for these mom
those
and
little
dads.
snacks when you're
Yes.
nursing.
Oh yeah.
No, that's really great. So meals and pets and
It's laundry. When you're coming
laundry.
over, if you're coming, I always also tell parents, have a list on your table, and on there is written everything you need that you would normally do if, since you're the mom, what would you normally do? You'd be doing laundry, you'd be walking the dog, you'd be doing dishes, just everything, dusting. I mean, if you don't have a housekeeper that can come in and help you, and put that list very prominently on your table. So as people come in, oh, what can I do to help? Instead of saying, oh, nothing, I'm fine. Point to the tabletop and say, if you could pick one of those, it'd be awesome.
Yeah,
And even if someone went around and took out your trash, oh my gosh, it's so much nicer just to pick, it's all gone.
Yeah.
Or take my dog for the walk. Or if you want to fix me a peanut butter sandwich, that would be great. Just don't say, oh, nothing, I'm fine.
that's great advice. Definitely, just be honest and say, hey,
Yeah.
we really do need help with the little stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, you would do it if your friend was pregnant and you went over there, you wouldn't mind throwing laundry in or dance their laundry back and forth.
Right.
No, that's great. I know one of the things, it's when it's so chaotic and you're trying to get all these things done, sleep can, often
Yes.
be such a tough thing. It's like, oh my gosh, there's so many things to do besides there's taking care of the kids and then there's the household, and where do you get sleep in there? So what do you recommend to parents in preserving their own sleep?
Yeah, it's the same little comment that everyone says all the time: sleep when the babies sleep. And we hear it over and over. People say it to you constantly, and it rings true. You have to sleep when the babies sleep. If these are your first two babies, then it makes it a little easier, only because you don't have any other outside, so much siblings and things going on. So let's just talk about if these are your first two babies coming in. It's easy when you get them in. You can kind of get them fed, and they will sleep. So as soon as you put them down, don't think about your emails and don't think about all the little things. That, I should better clean out that potty or whatever.
So tempting.
So I know, but that stuff's gonna be there for 25 years. So you might as well just go ahead. All that laundry and stuff's gonna be there forever. It's never gonna get done. So you might as well go ahead and lay down and rest for that time. It's
great.
very important.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it, because I'm always thinking that's a to do that's not done, that I can't concentrate or let myself relax until my little to do list is
Right.
done.
But all that stuff's going to be there.
yeah.
My kids are all grown and gone, and I still have laundry, and I still have dishes. So
They will always be
and
there.
they're always
Yeah.
going to be there. But them being little and stuff is not. So either
that's a good way to look at it.
I always say just get a housekeeper for that month if you need to. A housekeeper is way cheaper than a divorce, and you're just going to get them in there. To get things cleaned up for you is really important.
That's true. And so now I know that's definitely applicable for the mom. Now what about for the dads? Because I know so
Oh, yeah.
often dads take time off and then they're running
Exactly.
around crazy too.
So, men are you have to really kind of put them out there what they need to do. You have to give them to-do lists. They're very good about, I need this. Honey, I need a sandwich at 10 o'clock. They'll do it. If you just say, oh, I need some food, they don't know when it's going to be. So I always tell my dads, if you're in there making yourself a sandwich, you might as well make your wife a sandwich and bring them on in there, and then you'll be the best dad in the whole wide world. I said, unload the dishwasher or find someone who can do these type of things. Moms need all those extra helpy type of things that you assume that she's going to do, but she's not going to be. She's feeding babies 24 hours a day. So it's pretty much mom, her job is to feed the babies. Everything else that goes on in that house is everyone else's responsibility.
That's a great mindset to have, and I think sometimes it's help if you have an advocate, someone like yourself, to explain that to friends and
Exactly.
family who want to come over and
Yeah.
visit and
Everyone has
hang
a job to
out.
do when they
Yes.
come.
Yes.
It's really easy to hold the babies, and it's not the families or the visitor's job to hold babies while mom runs around and fix coffee and tea or whatever.
Right,
And
right.
she needs to just relax. It's a big physical changes and stuff after you've had multiples.
Yes. And so, speaking of that, and in the mom wanting to relax and recover,
Yes.
just giving birth, gosh, we all know.
doesn't matter if you have single or not. Yes.
Yes, it takes a while. So, what's the best kind of environment for twin moms to recover from giving birth?
Once
How can
again,
you
I
promote
kind of
that?
like everyone's bedroom. That's kind of like everyone's sanctuary. It's away from everybody. If visitors come, you're not right in the middle of Grand Central Station at the visitor station. You can just say, oh, mom's resting. And then, maybe dad can go and bring a baby down so they can see them. And sometimes moms, in a little disarray, she's maybe not very comfortable breastfeeding in front of a bunch of people, which you'll be doing every couple hours. And so I think the bedroom is, the best sanctuary, or the guest room, maybe, even if it's if available.
So definitely.
Yeah. And visitors out there, a 15 to 20 minute stay is all you need. You don't need to be there for 3 hours, unless you're doing unless you're chopping vegetables and making dinner and you're taking out the trash and walking the dog. Stay as long as you want. But just to sit there on the couch and talk about your trip to wherever you just got is not a fun thing for this family.
Yes. So basically, make sure that the mom's got her kind of private space where she can just go and relax and have that kind of mental and the physical
exactly
downtime.
And that she feels, I'm so sorry, I'm tired, and go.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with saying that, Mom.
Right.
Well, let's see here. So, I know that, we really want to see the twin moms breastfeeding.
Yes.
And it's a challenge. I mean,
yes,
with
it
two,
is.
it's
even with one,
with one, it's a challenge. And with two, there's, a whole host of challenges in itself. And so so often, in that first week, getting into a rhythm, and twin moms run into some speed bumps, low supply or, latching issues. And so what can they do?
First off, I believe they should always have a lactation consultant on hand, and they usually start that off way in the hospital. They usually have a great lactation person in the hospital. Continue on, get some help. It's like a brand new job or a brand new sport you're learning. So you might as well get a coach in there that's going to help you over these little speed bumps. I wouldn't expect anyone the very first week to have full milk supply for multiples. And I think as moms, we kind of fall into that trap of thinking, oh my gosh, I don't have enough milk in day 2. You wouldn't have milk by day 2. You have your first milk, which is your colostrum, which is great for those first 72 hours roughly. Usually by day 4 or 5, maybe even day 6, your second milk starts to come in. So you're going to need lots of support at that time, and not thinking you have to supplement unless there's a reason why, there's preemies, all kinds of different reasons. Unless you're instructed by your pediatrician that you need to supplement, there wouldn't be any reason why not to. So it's just another whole thing that you're getting into.
And I think I know I've heard about different breastfeeding support groups,
right?
And that are and especially for twins.
There's plenty of them out there. You, like I said, you probably wouldn't join a breastfeeding group the very first week you're out there. You're looking at maybe week 4 or week 5 or 6 that you're going in there. The first week you're just batten down the hatches and trying to survive for that first week.
Right.
So it's good to already have a lactation person that she's going to come out on day 3 when I'm home to check on me and see how things are going. Have something like that lined up, just like you would have food preparation or anything else. Have your lactation consultant come and do that.
That's really great advice.
Rosemary, in your experience, how often when it comes to breastfeeding, like I keep hearing about, if you can tandem nurse, that's the best way to do it.
Sure. It helps, just saves time. You have to realize it's going to take you an hour, whether you're feeding them one-on-one or if you're feeding both of them. It's really helpful for you to get them on tandem. But once again, that first week is, how am I going to do that? I'm all hands. I'm not really, you're not comfortable nursing to begin with. Unless you are an experienced breastfeeder, then it's a little easier.
Right.
Once again, that's where we need that support, whether the postpartum doula comes in and shows you, or the lactation person comes in and shows you. There are some little tricks of the trade that you have to learn to get them backed on. So you want to put the one who nurses pretty easily on second. The one who takes the most time you want to start with, because you've got to use both hands to get them on. The second one you can pretty much scoop up and they'll pretty much latch on and everything works really well. But once again, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing in the twins breastfeeding rule book that says you have to do it tandem. You can certainly feed one at a time and have one-on-one time with that baby, and then you can nurse the second one. So it's really the mom's choice, what's working best for her and her family.
Right.
Christine,
absolutely.
what did you do? What was your experience with that?
Oh gosh. Well, I think what I realize is so much of it is really about personal comfort, and sometimes everyone's got a different shaped couch.
Yes, exactly.
And so some couches have arms that sit higher, and others are low, and so you might need 2 or 3 pillows in addition to the breastfeeding pillow, and you got to just position it just right. And I think that takes a while to figure out what's working for you. And so it might be, you might have one arrangement. I've got a 2-story house, so I have one arrangement
downstairs,
and I've also have a different setup upstairs. And then there's and then at nighttime I do kind of a sideline nursing. I would do one right after the other, and then downstairs do the tandem. So and that just kind of came out with little trial and error and, figuring that was working for me.
Right.
And I think that's right. I think we have to realize there's not one way to do something.
Yeah.
If there's like 50 million ways to go. It's like driving to your store. You can go either 20 different ways. It's the same with breastfeeding. One thing about the big pillows is it's like a rocking boat. So you do have to stabilize that with something underneath. And a lot of people don't realize that it kind of teeters back and forth a little bit. So there's nothing wrong with putting a pillow underneath them or rolling up towels and stabilizing it a little bit.
Yes, definitely. When we come back, we're going to talk about what some of those typical daily routines might look like and discuss how twin parents can plan ahead of time. Well, welcome back. Today we're talking about bringing home twins the first week with Rosemary Mason. So we're just talking about the routine and how, Rosemary, you'd mentioned that so often it's really not the twins' routine that we're trying to put in place, but it's really the parents' routine.
It's a whole new routine. It's a brand new normal for this family. You're bringing 2 babies in. So once again, the first thing is we talked about where my environment, where do I feel most comfortable, let's say feeding, nursing these babies. That's probably the number one thing everyone worries about, food about for parents and for the babies. So as soon as they find a great environment, then getting the babies latched on, which again, we talked about with having a lactation person come in or a postpartum doula come in or another friend who is experienced with breastfeeding to help you do that part. So you're really going to be feeding. So then it's feeding time for everybody.
Yes.
And then it's hopefully sleeping time for everybody. And then as soon as everyone wakes up, everyone goes to the bathroom, which is changing diapers, and mom too. And then we start the whole routine over again. And I think that's the most important thing is that you have to remember you're in the movie Groundhog's Day. It's the same day over and over and over. Yeah. And just like the movie, how he fights it at the beginning. Yeah. Oh, well, I just can't stand this. And then at the end, how he just embraces it and finds all kinds of things. Yeah. This is how your life is going to be. And the more you fight it at the beginning, the harder it's going to be. And you just have to embrace it and love all the newness that's going to come in and the craziness. But for some people, that's really hard. Craziness is hard for a lot of people.
Yes.
They like the control of that, I was comfortable this way. And with multiples, it changes day to day. And one day it's going to be working. Your little routine is going to work out great. And the next day it just goes to pot. And you're thinking, what did I do wrong? And you didn't do anything wrong. You're working with 2 individual people here. Yeah. And you're trying to have them join your little group here and be part of your team. And they have different ideas about that, what team spirit is.
All predictability is just completely out the door.
It really is. I think that's the best way, especially that first week. You're all learning something completely new.
Wow. And so, so that routine we're talking about, so everyone sort of sleeping at the same time, everyone eating at the same time.
Yes.
And what kind of cycle are we talking about? Every 3 hours?
I would
4
say
hours?
probably at the beginning, once again, depends on their weight. Are we talking about preemies here? Are we talking about they're 6 pounds, or are we talking about 4 pounds? So first you'd always go with your pediatrician's recommendation of what they want them to do. It's mostly about every 2 hours. Every 2 to 3 hours is pretty normal. Most newborns or most multiples are not going to be going on 4-hour stretches. It's just too much for them. If you do, it's going to be a frantic feed. Everything's going to go crazy at that time. So if you I'd like to tell parents, keep it like seamless. Keep it like, you don't want a bunch of hills and valleys. You want it just to flow. So as soon as you see it's almost been 2 hours, their eyes start to flutter. They make a little sound. That's a great time for mom to get up, go to the bathroom, get her water, or have people give all that stuff to her. Get herself positioned with her big pillow or her pillows or how she's going to nurse. Then have them bring the babies, get the one that takes a little more time, get them latched on, get the other one latched on, relax. She can have her little, her TV remote or her phone next to her, but babies are very social people and they don't really like cell phones at all.
They're okay with books, right?
They're fine with the books. Yeah. It's something about non-mechanical things and people know. They'll be squawking if you're trying to check your emails or something.
So, no, with a lot of that routine, I think we mentioned, the breastfeeding. And now a lot of twin moms, take a hospital grade breast pump home.
Correct.
It was recommended by their doctor and lactation consultant. And I know for myself, that was, part of the deal. I had it sitting next to my couch.
That's my plan too. Hospital grade. I'm not doing the individual stuff.
Oh no.
Just
double pump.
Yeah.
Get the big guns.
Yeah.
And I'll just say I remember it just took quite a bit of time, working into that routine.
Right.
And I'll say that was probably one of the most challenging things for me. Do you have suggestions as to how do you work that into the routine as part of that feeding?
If you've been instructed to pump after each, feed, which, if you have little small babies, little preemies, usually because they tire very quickly. So they may get on the breast for maybe 5 or 7 minutes, and then they kind of tired, and you've been instructed to go ahead and supplement with your breast milk afterwards. So it's going to be one of those things, once again, they're done nursing. You can then either let them just lay there on your pillow or just hang out with you, have your breasts, all your pumping paraphernalia right next to you. Go ahead and just latch on and pump for the additional 15 minutes. Everything can be done right there without you getting up if you prep stuff. And then once you're done with 15, put it to the side, and you can put your babies, away in the little boxes, as I call them, and then you can get up and go eat or whatever you need to do. But don't let it overwhelm you. Once again, get the instruction. How long do I have to pump? Is it just for this week? And then build up my milk supply. Once again, lactation consultant comes in and observes. She weighs the babies first. You nurse them. She weighs them after. If everything's A-okay, there isn't any reason to continue on pumping. So one of the reasons I usually ask right away, why are you pumping? I don't know. I just heard you're supposed to pump all the time. Now you're adding a whole extra job that you probably don't need. I would say 90% of my moms have way great milk supply, just overabundance of milk supply, where they have so much milk. Yeah, I think people just overestimate, or underestimate their value of how much milk they can make.
Oh my gosh.
We're made to make milk.
Well, how often, unless you have a lactation consultant, how often are you measuring your baby before your breastfeeding session and then measuring them afterwards? So the big question mark is, how much are they getting? And we think that if they fuss just a little bit,
right,
that it's because you're not feeding them enough, and then we blame ourselves.
Exactly. And really, babies fuss because they're tired too. And I find more babies are overstimulated. Then they get a great meal. Then everyone wants to play with them. Everyone wants to, goof with them. And then they start to cry. And right away, I think they're hungry. And it's not hasn't to do with food. It has to be they're tired. Wrap them up. Learn your other comfort measures like swaddling and walking and putting them down. And then, giving your chance a break.
No, that's great to know. So we know when we do this sort of routine every few hours and sleeping and now at nighttime, what types of sleeping arrangements do you recommend for twins? Because that, can be a little bit different.
I've heard a lot of stuff about this, by the way. I'm really curious.
It's very tricky. Once again, let's start with our partner. Where are they going to sleep? Do they want to do that? Are they comfortable in the bed with the mom? If she's going to be nursing in the bed, is he going to be part of it where he's getting up, or the partner's getting up to go ahead, get the babies, change them, and bring them to her? And then after the baby's done nursing, is that partner going to bring them and wrap them up and put them back, or is mom going to kind of co-sleep a little bit with them and kind of relax that way? Everyone has their own little style, and there's nothing wrong with testing out a couple styles. Maybe she's going to hire a postpartum doula to come in and help support her during those nights, and maybe show the parents how to do this little routine at nighttime for them, and then how to sleep properly. Now, some parents just opt after, or partners just opt after a week, all right, I'm going in the guest room. And then mom's like, hooray, I have the bed to myself, and then I can have babies all over me, and kind of, pretty easy.
Yeah.
So more little Angelina Jolie type of style, It was a real cute article. They said, Brad Pitt's on the couch. I said, well, of course he's on the couch. If I comes home and there's 20,000 kids in the bed, I'm going to go to the couch. So there's nothing wrong with partners leaving, mom, and getting their own sleep and their own comfort if they have some other support going in.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I know a lot of people put a lot of time into decorating the nursery.
That's one thing I'm doing right now, decorating the twin nursery.
Keep it simple.
Yes.
I have learned a lot with two kids already. Like, you don't need a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
No,
But these are my first girls.
I know.
And so the pink will ensue. And
yes. There isn't. Yeah. You spend way more money on a girl than you do on a boy. Unfortunately, sorry.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's funny though, because I think, gosh, my husband and I, we had the letters and up on the wall and like I said, you paint and everything.
Yeah.
And then we realized, just in our case, we put them in a co-sleeper next to our bed, because it was so much more convenience to kind of just lean over and grab them.
But they were your only kids at the time too.
Exactly.
They were the two. Yes. The two were the only kids.
Yeah.
So, and then we ended up having them next to our bed for about 4 months.
Yeah. That's pretty normal.
So that was just really more the convenience. I mean, I know for other families, it's like, okay, we just want to have them, further away so we can get a better night's sleep.
And that's later on. But I think those first, I agree, those first few months, it's easier if you're breastfeeding, or even bottle feeding, they're close by. And they have these new little things called rock and plays, and they're kind of a little slingy type of thing, and they're great, especially for those new ones, because it makes it feel like they're being held. And once you wrap them and you put them in this thing, instead of laying flat, they're just kind of in this like sling. And they're great if your baby has reflux or any breathing type of little issues. Sometimes it holds them up. It kind of like, it's almost like think of like a car seats kind of style.
Oh, right.
But they're really soft and they're made for that. And they're really portable and you can move them all around.
Rock and play.
They're called rock and plays.
Oh, interesting.
So I wrote it down.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Really good.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Rosemary, and for joining us today.
You're welcome.
And, for more information about bringing home twins the first week, or for more information about any of our panelists, visit the episode page on our website. And this conversation continues for members of our Twin Talks Club. After the show, Rosemary will tell us a little bit about telling identicals apart, some tips on
tricks.
how we don't get them mixed up. So for more information about the Twin Talks Club, visit our website, twintalks.com.
So this is our feature on annoying comments people make to twin moms. This one is from Amanda in Rhode Island. Taking my twins out in public gets frustrating and annoying if you're in a hurry or you don't feel well. I have 8.5-week-old boy-girl twins. I clearly dress one as a boy and the other as a girl, but I still get, are they identical? They must be two boys. And then I get, I'm so sorry. You have your hands full. You must never sleep. That's got to be expensive. Bless your heart. The worst one is, oh, a boy and a girl? Aren't you glad that it's one shot and you're done? Really? Glad to know other people are making that decision for me and my husband.
So that wraps up our show for today. We appreciate you listening to Twin Talks. Join in on the discussion by posting your comments on the Twin Talks Facebook page or calling our voicemail at 619-866-4775. And don't forget to check out our sister shows, Preggie Pals for expecting parents, the Boob group for moms who've breastfed their babies, and Parent Savers, an online support group for the new parents. Next week, we'll be talking about annoying questions people ask about twins and how to deal with it. This is Twin Talks, Parenting Times 2.
This has been a New Mommy Media production. The information and material contained in this episode are presented for educational purposes only. Statements and opinions expressed in this episode are not necessarily those of New Mommy Media and should not be considered facts. While such information and materials are believed to be accurate, it is not intended to replace or substitute for professional medical advice or care, and should not be used for diagnosing or treating healthcare problem or disease or prescribing any medication. If you have questions or concerns regarding your physical or mental health or the health of your baby, please seek assistance from a qualified healthcare provider.
New Mommy Media is expanding our lineup of shows for new and expecting parents. If you have an idea for a new series, or if you're a business or organization interested in joining our network of shows through a co-branded podcast, visit newmommymedia.com.